Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Bashem Rakak Wadash. My name is Chicago from Playing Tables Camp in Philly. Now, this is lessons on the digital dollar. Federal Reserve Bank reveals details of digital dollar research. Now, I have a video. It's about 20 minutes. You have to watch the whole thing. So I'm going to bring out a few scriptures, or one or two, and I'm gonna let the video play and then stop it, or I think I should stop it. But it's a lot of things that you have to know. So, and I want to include it within this lesson. So I'm gonna let the video play out, and I'll stop it occasionally, or I may not. All right, I'll read a little of this. What I did to find this was I put in digital dollar. Then I read an article and I put Loretta Mester, and a bunch of different articles come up, and one I'm using comes up. That's a video of it, right here. And apparently on September 23rd, this person spoke about a digital dollar. Of course, it's going to be issued by the Federal Reserve, because we're not going to give the American government isn't going to give up its relationship with the Federal Reserve to create their own currency, which would make sense if the government was actually in control. But the Federal Reserve is going to be issuing this dollar, this digital dollar. The Federal Reserve Bank has been exploring digital currencies to modernize the U.S. payments sector. All right. So it's not the Americans taking back their power, the government and all that. No, the Federal Reserve is going to be issuing this because the debt is still owed to the bankers, so they wouldn't do that. Our government wouldn't, because they have that relationship with the Federal Reserve Bank. They wouldn't just abolish that bank or kick them out the country and then start their own currency. So this is being issued by the Federal Reserve. All right. Says the president and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland has revealed details of the Fed's ongoing research into the potential digital dollar. Now, the video I have is going to explain a lot of this. It's going to go into the different bills. Yeah. Now, I don't know if another brother may have already done this, but if you didn't see it, then stay tuned. So he's going to go into a lot of, not a lot, but a few some research that he did on a bill that was passed or several bills that were passed, and you'll get a clearer picture of how the digital dollar works and what are going to be some details on it. So I'll just let the video speak. I'm sure that he can explain it a lot better than I can. All right, and eventually they're going to migrate this, like I said in my previous video. In my previous video I did a few days ago or yesterday, it says buy and sell with your palm, wrist band, or chip. They're going to migrate this chip, or they're going to migrate your palm. They're going to migrate your digital wallet to a device in your hand. All right, eventually. But right now, the technology and the research is being done so they can eventually get the chip into your hand. All right. Now you have other camps and groups and unbelievers that have been saying for years that we watch too much Alex Jones and it's take the Bible too literal and all these things. But now you can see that we're getting closer and closer to that chip in your arm. All right. This is Revelation 13:16, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And his number is 666. All right. So that chip, that digital dollar, all right, they're migrating all these external currencies into digital on the body currencies. All right, this is Palm right here, the Amazon One. All right, and then eventually that's going to migrate to a device in your body. This is the digitaldollarproject.org is one of the search results that came up. Digital Dollar Project. The Digital Dollar Project is a partnership between Accenture and NYSC. It's like that's not traded on the stock market or something, and the Digital Dollar Foundation to advance expiration of the United States Central Bank Digital Currency, or CBDC. The purpose of the project is to encourage research and public discussion on the potential advantages of a digital dollar. Convene private sector thought leaders and actors, and propose possible models to support the public sector. The project will develop a framework for potential practical steps that can be taken to establish a central bank digital currency, or CBDC. All right. The time has come to explore options for a digital dollar. All right. Now, our naysayers, our detractors, have been saying that we're imagining things. We're into too much conspiracy theories. All right. All we do is report the news. All right. That's going on in the world, and prophecy that's in the scriptures, and we made them together, and we put lessons together, and we preach about it. That's all we do. And still, when we put those two things together, people still don't believe. All right, but that's on them. We giving them the information. If they don't take heed to the information, they're going to get caught up in it, and they're going to end up sinning against Yahweh or Yahushua and being put to death. And the principal members of the Digital Dollar Foundation, the foundation have sounded the call for its needed dollar innovation. So they said it's needed, and it's innovation. All right. It says make changes in something established, especially by introducing new methods, ideas, or products. Together with Accenture, a global leader in CBDC advancement, the foundation has formed the Digital Dollar Project. All right. The project to study the potential avenues to utilize U.S. digital dollar tokenization and its implications on the U.S. and global economic and financial systems. All right. The project will seek to facilitate a project debate about the U.S. dollar CBDC adoption. All right. To ensure the dollar can serve the broadest possible range of uses in an increasingly digital global economy, and thereby maintain its privileged position and support orderly adjustments in international monetary relations. Considerations needs to be given to plans to adopt digital dollar issued by the Federal Reserve System, Fed. All right, so wherever America leads, the rest of the world follows, because everything is traded in the dollar. So the oil, anyway, I should say. I believe trade also traded in the dollar, like the goods and services that we trade from with other countries. I believe that's traded in dollar. So wherever America goes, the other nations are going to follow. So the other nations are going to have to get on board with the digital currency. All right, and they're going to get rid of cash, and then it's going to migrate. That digital currency is going to be in a chip that's going to be embedded in your body. All right. So what part of this the elders and apostles of Great Millstone make up on down? Make up. Where do we make up? What conspiracy theory are we talking about now? All right. This is all 100% fact. All right. So you have this organization is pushing forth, study and research to adopt this currency. All right. And they don't have to be a part of the government or even be a part of the Fed. All right. The point is that it's out there and they're making progress. All right. We're at a point here. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. 15. And he had power to give life into the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So if you don't take that chip, if you're not on board with this new system that's being set up, you're going to be killed. All right. Who runs the beast? The whore. All right, and the whore represents Babylon, America. They said the scriptures say that the whore sat on the beast, who contributes the most amount of money to NATO. America. All right. America puts the money out to support these that organization. All right. And that's the military part of the organization, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Then you also have the EU, which is the different European Nations Union. All right. Who's the global police? Babylon, America. All right. Let me get that real quick. It says, receive power 1 hour. Is that 18? Oh, 17. 17:12. It says, in the 10 horns with those saws are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as of yet, but have received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And the beast, it makes up all the countries, including, Babylon, America. They all come together under one banner, under NATO. All right. So they receive power 1 hour. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, meaning unto the organization. Together they make up the beast. All of the European nations in America, and it says America sits on top of the beast, as the whore. Let's go to 18. It says, let's try to get to the point. Is Revelation 18 and 3. It says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, with the whore, Babylon. All right. So the centerpiece is the whore, Babylon, America. All right. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. All right. So who's really in charge? The whore. So they have committed fornication with her. All right. And that's proven by, American foreign policy. You can fact check that yourself. Just look into the history. All right, Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. All right, the whore of Babylon right here. It says, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. All right. And that's America, Babylon. All right. And upon her forehead was written the name Mystery Babylon, the great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. All right. So who really calls the shots? The whore. The whore calls the shots. It tells the beast what to do. All right. And as of late, they're a union Their unity is breaking down, and that's part of how Yahushua is going to destroy the beast and the whore. All right. So we're gonna get on to the video that I have. Right here. This is a digital dollar coming to your phone. Alarming plan revealed. Hope I don't lose it.
This is the whips and the chain.
All right, this was October 8th. He premiered it on October 8th. Today is the 10th, I believe. Today's the 10th. And I watched it yesterday, the whole thing. So it's a lot of information here, so you have to watch the whole thing. He goes into details. I could have just did what he did, but the work is already done. So listen and pay attention closely.
That they can impose if we go. This is the whips and the chains that they can impose if we go to a purely government-backed digital currency. Get ready, because your enslavement is coming much, much sooner than you think. You know that old saying, coming to a theater near you? Well, this is coming. It's being provided by your own willingness to go along with these things, and it's going to be enabled by the phone in your pocket. That's how close it is to you. It's as close as your telephone. Robert Breedlove, the ultimate weapon of economic tyranny is coming. All Federal Reserve banks shall, not later than January 1st, 2021, make digital wallets available to all residents and citizens of the United States and to businesses domiciled in the United States. Now, China's been working on this for a while. China moves away from the US dollar ahead of digital yuan. So they're going to have a cryptocurrency-based yuan, and we've known that for a while. It's coming. We thought they would be first. Possibly not. In unprecedented monetary overhaul, the Fed is preparing to deposit digital dollars directly to each American. And then another article on Zero Hedge. Fed's direct money transfers are coming. Leal Brainerd, she's a Fed governor, says Fed is collaborating with MIT on hypothetical digital currency. Well, it's not so hypothetical, Leal. So this is congress.gov, and you can go there and you can see all of the stuff that they are planning. And these are hearings to examine the digitization of currency and payments. They don't understand the difference between money. Has to be a store of value. That's one of the attributes that it has to have. There is no such thing as a national fiat money. They're all currencies. That's the reason we have the foreign currency exchange. It's a currency exchange, not a money exchange. Including, this is the Illicit Cash Act, to improve laws relating to money laundering, and this is the Banking for All Act, to require member banks to maintain pass-through digital dollar wallets for certain persons. And so here are the two acts, and you can click on those. And the Illicit Cash Act, there's a summary here. And some of the things that, everybody should read this stuff. It's important. But this bill, will compel foreign banks to comply with subpoenas for records and allowing fines of foreign banks that fail to comply. So they're going to fine foreign banks in Switzerland and France and China and everywhere else in the world. They have to comply or we fine them. And if they refuse to pay the fine, we can freeze them out of the world monetary system through the SWIFT system. And we've been playing this game. This kind of bullying is the reason that the dollar will one day stop being the world's reserve currency. The global dollar standard, as I have been saying for many, many years, is on its last legs, and eventually it will fall apart where we do not get to run the world monetary system. And it's a shame because there are enormous benefits the wealth transfer and the lifestyle that we have, a lot of it depends on being the bank, running the game. Basically, there is a wealth transfer that goes on from the rest of the world to us. And, it's in Hidden Secrets of Money. So I forgot what episode that is, but you can watch it. Another one here that's threatening is expanding the regulation of digital currencies. So they want to somehow regulate Bitcoin and all of the other digital currencies that are not part of their little sphere of influence, as you will see in a minute. And then you can also click on the text. I don't recommend reading all of this stuff. Well, you could. I mean, anybody that has the time should. I've read it, but it's long and boring. But you're going to pull some things out of it that, if you always look at the wording and are suspect of how it could be interpreted, then you can pull a lot more out of these things than it appears. So if you click on all actions here on the actions tab, you can see that it was introduced in September of last year, and it was read twice and to the Senate, in the Senate, and referred to the Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs. And then that committee held hearings on it twice, once in December and at the end of June. June 30, remember that date. So moving on to the Banking for All Act. So here, again, there's a summary, and the summary, there's some things that, this bill requires Federal Reserve member banks to provide digital pass-through accounts. Now, the Federal Reserve member banks, that's most banks, but not all. Digital pass-through accounts, i.e. digital dollar wallets, to residents and citizens and to businesses domiciled in the United States.
Now this is on the actual bill S3571. All right, the bill requires the Federal Reserve member banks to provide digital pass-through accounts to residents and citizens. All right. Before he continues, I just want to bring this scripture out. It's one of my, as of late, favorite scriptures. Is Ezekiel 33 and 32. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument. For they hear thy words, but they do them not. We've been warning you that they're laying the groundwork. They're building systems to create a digital currency. And then the next step after that is going to be the microchip in your arm is going to be how you access that digital currency. Ezekiel 33 and 33. And when this cometh to pass, what the prophecy about the RFID microchip being a mark of the beast, not being able to buy or sell without it. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. All right. We're telling you, just pay attention.
Member banks, that's most banks, but not all. Digital pass-through accounts, i.e. digital dollar wallets, to residents and citizens and to businesses domiciled in the United States.
All right. If you don't know what digital pass-through means, you know what residents and citizens mean, right?
Among other things, these accounts must provide specified banking services to eligible persons who elect to deposit funds into these accounts. This is important. That makes it sound very voluntary. Who elect to deposit funds into these accounts, including access to C-1984, or also known as the Batman Wu Flu. The Batman Wu Flu, C-1984. We'll get into that in an upcoming video. Aid payments. So persons who elect to deposit aid payments? I mean, how can you refuse? Everybody is going to download one of this isn't voluntary. When they dangle a carrot, or actually they've got a worm on a hook and they're dangling it in front of the American public, everybody. And as these payments, that you've got an account and they deposit into these accounts, and you got 1,000 there, and after a while you got 5,000 there. After you're not going to be able to resist this. 99% of the population is going to fall for this. These accounts may not charge fees. It doesn't say will not charge fees. They may not charge fees. Wording is very important. How will this be interpreted in the future, or have balance requirements, and must provide a specified interest rate? Provide, not pay a specified interest rate, but provide one. We're going to get into that in a moment. In areas with limited...
So going back to the point where you made about the C-19 aid payments. I remember the elders and apostles and brothers were saying that earlier about early in the year about the aid payments going on to some type of digital account. I remember hearing that a few months back, and this is apparently where it was. It says right here 3/23/2020 up top. So that's probably where brothers and elders were referring to. All right. So again, this is not far-fetched in the distant future. In 2050. As it appears, it's going to happen in our lifetime. It could happen in 2021. They could start rolling it out, or it could have something to do with these elections. Well, we have to wait and see. But we definitely can't be ignorant and be unbelievers when there's so much evidence that they're pushing this digital currency that's eventually going to migrate to a device in your body.
Access to Federal Reserve. To that in a moment. In areas with limited access to Federal Reserve member banks, these banks must partner with the post office to provide services. That's important also. Remember, the post office, they may not charge fees, and they must provide a specified interest rate. Federal Reserve banks must permit state non-member banks and credit unions. Now, at this point, that's every banking financial institution that there is in the United States. So they must permit them to open master accounts for the purpose of offering digital pass-through accounts. Now, if your customers there's been these C-1984 payments into an account that you can claim that's connected with your identification that you can claim. And you've got it builds up. You got $1,000, but after 10 months, you got $10,000 sitting there. Who is not going to claim that? And so these non-member banks and credit unions don't want to lose you as a customer. And so they are going to do this. Retail postal facilities and certain small banks must be reimbursed for the appropriate Federal Reserve Bank for operational costs by the appropriate Federal Reserve Bank incurred in offering these accounts. So it's not going to cost all of the banks and credit unions anything to do this, to get you trapped and enslaved. The text of the bill, these are all long things. Actions, too. And when you click on that, you have to, this is the overview. It was introduced in the Senate. When you click on all actions, it was read twice and referred to the Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs, same committee that is reviewing the Illicit Cash Act. And the hearing that they had on it, this was introduced on March 23rd. Remember that date, March 23rd. It's important. It was introduced. It was the hearing that was held was on 6/30. That's the same date as the second hearing on the Illicit Cash Act. So these two things really go together. That they want to control the currency completely and control everything that you do with it. That's the big problem. I'll get to those whips and chains that they're going to be using in a moment. So March 23rd, right there. So the stock markets have been we had the C-1984 Batman Wu flu, and the markets had been crashing for exactly a month. And they lost a tremendous amount from 3,400 down to 2,250 here. This is huge, huge losses that we had. The public was panicked. They did this hearing on like the date of maximum public panic. Now, some of the things that are happening is this is the IMF blog, cashing in how to make negative interest rates work. And this is an old article. It's a year and a half old. In it, they were trying to make negative, if they take interest rates too negative, people will just take cash out of their bank and hold cash at home instead of having the cash in the bank accounts where they're getting charged a fee, basically. You can't have fees, but you've got to provide an interest rate. Well, this interest rate is minus. And so it's not a fee, it's an interest rate. And so your cash in the bank dwindles if you don't spend it, because what their goal is to control velocity of currency. Watch episodes 6 and 7 of Hidden Secrets of Money if you want to know about it. You should know about velocity of currency. It's important. It's going to have a lot to do with your future. So watch those episodes and learn as much as you can about this. But what they were proposing back then was each country at its own discretion having two different currencies. The currency in circulation, the paper currency, which would be different than the dollars that are, the dollars that are in the ether, or the currency that's in the ether, the digital currency that's in your bank account and that you use on your credit card.
Now, going back to March 23rd real quick, I believe that was the Affordable Care Act. It must be something special about March 23rd, because the Affordable Care Act, I believe that included devices implantable. I remember that. We were talking about that heavy, and that came out. And after it also, I believe the date was March 23rd. March 23rd, we kept hearing that date. The healthcare law, Obamacare, was signed March 23rd, 2010. All right, so something special about that date, that they keep going back to that date. Maybe that's a day they convene in court or something satanic about that date, March 23rd. All right, I'll go back to.
People will just take negative if they take half really go together. That they want to control the current.
Yeah, something about that date, March 23rd, because that was the Affordable Care Act, if I'm not mistaken, for the name, but it was March 23rd, and it included implantable devices. And we were saying, oh yeah, they talking about the chip. No, they were talking about other medical devices. That was the argument back then. We were saying, well, that includes the chip, even if it was talking about like pacemakers and all that stuff, life supporting, life sustaining. They were saying it was March 23rd. They had to be it was either going into effect, or they had to come to some type of decision or something like that. But it was March 23rd was the date, and apparently they had another. It said it was read twice and referred to the Committee on Banking on March 23rd. So something about that date.
Two different prices. For one price for the digital currency and one price for the cash currency. And say you're negative at 3% per year. If you take out $100 out of the bank on a certain date, the currency in circulation, the paper currency, which would be different than the dollars that are, the dollars that are in the ether, or the currency that's in the ether, the digital currency that's in your bank account and that you use on your credit card. And every retailer would have to have two different prices. For one price for the digital currency and one price for the cash currency. and say you're negative at 3% per year. If you take out $100 out of the bank on a certain date and you bring it back and deposit it a year later, you're only going to get $97. The $100 bill is only going to be worth 97 of the digital currency. So there's an exchange rate that's constantly changing between them. But that was extremely complex. So what's next? Well, this is also the IMF, and this is an old article. This is from March of 2018. But what are cryptocurrencies? They're sort of getting us ready for this. And then we go to the IMF's Twitter account, and they have this slick little video on here. What is cryptocurrency? And so they're getting us ready globally for national fiat cryptocurrencies. Very, very dangerous. Now, remember
that's a government organ. Well, not government, a central bank promoting cryptocurrencies. All right, so that should get you thinking. Like, well, if they're explaining what it is, they may be about to implement it within their own system, within their own bank. All right. So whenever you hear these large corporations talk about something, they're more than likely going to implement it. They just don't give information out for nothing. So you can be informed of what it is. No, they're talking about it because they're actually promoting it, because they're going to eventually use the technology one day. IMF. All right.
Remember the post office. The post office just filed a patent for blockchain-based secure voting system. So not only is the post office going to be connected to your bank account, they're going to be connected to your vote. I don't know exactly what the implications are for this, but it's pretty big that basically your digital wallet, that the future of all of the transactions that you're going to be making is also being done through the same place that you vote. And so this is pretty creepy, folks. And so I just had my spreadsheet master, Alan Hibbard. He does amazing work, but he threw together this simple spreadsheet of interest rates if you deposit $100.
Now, if there's fees on the digital account, then it's going to cost you money to keep the account up. But you have free checking accounts, and you have checking accounts that charge a fee. I don't know if they're actually going to call it a checking account. Well, they have accounts that they charge a fee. So basically, what he's trying to say is, if there is a negative interest rate, then you're going to be losing money, and that's another form of slavery. Being a debt slave, and this is supposed to actually cure the global economy, introducing the digital currency, according to what their the Federal Reserve and different central banks are saying, that digital currency will be better and more beneficial to the global economy. But if it has fees on it, then it's going to be losing its value, and that's what I believe the point he's trying to make. And I believe he describes it as negative interest rates.
On day one. How many days? This is the number of days. And we've got a negative interest rate of 0.1% per day here. And as you can see, by the time 11 days goes by, you've lost $1 out of 100. You've lost 1%. And then I've hidden a bunch of the rows on this because I wanted to show you that after 1 month, you've lost just about 3% after a month. You're down to $97. At 111 days, you've lost 10%. At 224 days, you've lost 20%. $20 has vanished from your account. At 357 days, you've lost 30% basically. You're down to, and this is the rate that credit cards charge if you default on a payment, 30% annual interest. And so at 365, it's 30.5% annual interest, and you're down to less than $70. This means that you spend it as soon as you get it. Now, when you enslave people, there's usually not just the shackles and chains, but there's also whips involved. So the shackles and chains is the currency that's going to be deposited into your phone wallet and available to you. The whips is this and a couple of other things. I want you to go and watch this video. It's very important, by George Gammon. George is great. He's going to teach this to you in 3 easy steps. And he is good at connecting the dots. This is what I do, is connect the dots for people. You take some complex process, describe it in a way that people can understand it. And, I love George. He is also a libertarian. I am, a libertarian. People don't impose themselves and how the government could track you. The digital currencies and how the government could track you. I forgot that these, when you watch this, the currencies are programmable. They can make it so that if they don't like what you're doing, if they don't want you to travel, you won't be able to buy an airline ticket. You won't be able.
Right, yeah. Well, in my bank, I have card controls. I can, let me pull it up right now. What he's talking about, bank. If they don't want you to travel to a certain area, they can say, well, you can't use your this account in this state. Go to card controls, logging in. It says card control preferences, and I can my location, my regions, international block. So I can turn on locations. All right. It says my location work, how my location works. So these are card controls, and that's what he's going into. It says the device location will be sent to the service when a signification location changes are detected. This information is used to match address information for the store location when you make an in-store purchase. If your device location does not intersect with the zip code in which the store is located, the purchase may be declined based on your other locations. All right. So if your card is being used somewhere your cell phone isn't, that sounds like what they're trying to say, then it will block the transaction. Then I also have my region. When you define your region, so you can create 3 regions. The information is used to match address information for the store location when you make an in-store purchase. If your region does not intersect with the zip code in which the store is located, the purchase may be declined based on your my region's preferences. All right, so you can actually turn only certain regions of the country or wherever you are on, so everywhere else will be declined, but it uses the word may. So it's not 100%, as this man doing the interview said. You got to be careful with the wording. Other card controls we have here, and they can use this, with the chip and say, well, you're not allowed to be in this area, you're not allowed to make purchases in this area. So it's all about control. As I mentioned a lot, when it comes to this chip, it's all about controlling human resources and all resources on the earth. All right, we got merchant types. All right, we got department stores, entertainment, gas, grocery, household, and you can I can click the master tab and enable merchant controls, and I can click all those on or off. Travel, I can turn it on or off. Restaurant, I can turn it on or off. So if somebody steals my card or your chip, I can turn, and I know they're going to eat at a restaurant, I can turn restaurants off, or I can turn restaurants off. Or if somebody steals your chip or your credit card, you can turn, and they want to go shopping for groceries, I can turn groceries on and off. I can turn gas stations on and off. So if they try to make purchases at a gas station, I can turn on and off. Entertainment, movie theaters, I don't know, a Sky Zone or whatever, bowling, entertainment, I can turn on or off. So, and that's controls that I have. So the government can do the same exact thing. They can turn certain services or regions on and off to limit your movement and purchases at their will, and that's the control you're giving up to the beast. All right. No. Transaction types. All right. In-store, online, mail order, auto pay, and ATM. You can turn an ATM off. Wow. I never even looked in here. So I can enable card controls and turns everything on. Then I can click off ATM. I can click off auto pay. I can click off online. I can click off in-store. So that's the kind of control you're giving the government when you take that chip. All right, you're giving them control over your purchases. All right. So let me just read that again. Revelation 13 and 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So if you take that mark, then you get license to buy and sell under his authority. They're edible. Remember, the software is edible. You can just turn something on and off. They don't want you in a certain part of the country, they can just turn it off. You're getting a bus ticket or a plane ticket. Say you from Philly to say Louisiana. Well, you go try to make that purchase. You're not gonna be able to make the purchase. It's gonna be working with the AI to determine what privileges you have through that chip. All right. Charagma of a badge, it's like of a mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist. All right. A badge of servitude. All right. So whatever technology they want to roll out, you're in subjection to that system. All right. And it's not going to be dumb. It's going to be intelligent. It's not going to be a dumb chip. All right.
Able to gas up. They don't want you, so that if they don't like what you're doing, if they don't want you to travel, you won't be able to buy an airline ticket. You won't be able to gas up. You can't buy gas 50 miles from your home. The currency doesn't work. Those dollars won't purchase petrol any certain radius from your home. They can actually make it so that your only choice is left. They can give you social credits. If you're a good boy, you do everything that the government wants and you don't do anything it doesn't want you to do, then you have more freedom. They're not going that you'll have less taken out of your account, or they may pay you a positive interest rate. They can make it so that your dollars purchase more when it's purchasing the things that they want you to purchase, or when you're doing the things they want you to do. They can make those currency units worth 10% more. Or they can make those currencies worth, if they don't like how much if you drink too much and they don't like how much you're drinking, they can make it so that you go in to purchase some beer or wine, and each dollar is only worth 50 cents at that purchase. This is all programmable. They can make it so that you can't travel. They can make it so that the only thing that you can do is shop at the nearest grocery store and stay at home in your shitty government apartment.
Right, and that's how they can so-called stop the spread of whatever new disease they want to bring out. All right, they can confine you to your neighborhood, so you can't travel. So even if you wanted to travel, you can't buy and sell without the device. So you go outside your neighborhood, you don't have the device, right? All right, or if you in your neighborhood with the device, you can only shop there. All right, it's pretty simple to understand. And also have card control, control preferences, spend limits. Spend limits. I can per transaction. I can click that on, and I can put a dollar amount in the spend limits. So they can actually limit. And then if I'm doing all this on the app on my phone from my bank. All right. And this is a dumb system. The system that's going to be on the chip is going to be more advanced. Same method, but it'll be I guess faster or whatever. All right, so card controls. My video's almost done.
Grocery store and stay at home in your shitty government apartment. This is the whips and the chains that they can impose if we go to a purely government-backed digital currency, a blockchain digital currency. Now, the way that, even if I'm getting these deposits of, the magic money tree universal basic income, the modern monetary theory and universal basic income, if you're getting a few $1,000s every month into an account, or, and they'll raise it $5,000, whatever, it's going to be pretty tempting not to spend that. But here is a way that you can maintain an account, or if you're getting a few $1,000s every month into an account, or, and they'll raise it $5,000, whatever, it's going to be pretty tempting not to spend that. But here is a way that you can maintain maximum freedom for the long.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, and if they're giving you free money, I mean, you're going to not you, brothers and sisters, but the average Israelite, average citizen is going to use the free money. All right, and this is, I'm referring to, like, if they try to do this before they implement the implantable chip, it would make more sense for them to to put the system out first and give them free money to get them hooked. All right, and then bring the chip out. Cause then they'd be hooked. They'd be getting free money all this time because of some pandemic. All right, that's apparently killing a bunch of people. Fear mongering and putting all this advertisement out, social distance and all that. So, and they getting used to the money. Yeah, it makes sense that if they can easily just they already got you hooked, so they can easily just say, well, some theft occurred. Now we have to have the implantable device. That's the safest way. All right, this is 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. All right. So, getting, the goodies and comfort provided to you by the government is going to lead to your destruction. So it's not beneficial to you in the long run to enjoy the free money. All right, depend on the money you've been saving up in your spiritual bank account. All right, by fulfilling your office, whatever that may be in the faith. All right, so I'll end the lesson there. Hope you edified. Until the next lesson, Shalom.